Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. It's Wednesday mid-morning. I'm just about to go on my tea break. So what we'll do is we'll just go on a bit of a walk and talk. As you can see, the sun's starting to appear, the clouds blowing away, and it's clearing up to be another reasonable summer day. So let's just head off, and we'll just go down here to where we normally go this time of day. And that's in front of the Museum of Contemporary Art, and deliver a book summary, another book summary today. And today's book summary is going to be, it's entitled The Power of Full Engagement. The Power of Full Engagement. And there's a dual authorship here. It's Jim Loehr and Tony Schwarz. Jim Loehr and Tony Schwarz have written a book entitled The Power of Full Engagement. So the power of all in and full engagement, and we'll see where that leads us. But I think we've learnt in life, unless you're fully engaged, unless you're fully committed, then you're not going to be doing all that much, because you're going to be distracted and drifting, as opposed to driving forward with ambition and purpose. So what are we going to learn from this book today? The author kicks off the book with a wonderful quote, and the quote is as follows: "When we grow the aspects of our lives that we feed," let me start again. "We grow the aspects of our lives that we feed with energy and engagement, and choke off those we deprive to fuel. Your life is what you agree to attend to." Pretty interesting, pretty powerful, and a great way to start the day, with something that's going to get us thinking about the things in our lives that we're going to choose to feed, and to also be cognizant and aware that there are other things in our lives which we're going to starve off and reduce and atrophy, because we're not feeding them and we're not attending to them. So the big call to action, I guess, from this book is that we need to prioritise, we need to sit and think in terms of what's important to us, and to work on those items as a matter of importance. So the bottom line from this author is that we need to manage both our time and our energy, because this will help us to blow away our peers, blow away our competitors, many of which are really good at managing their time, but they're hopeless at managing their energy, and you're going to outperform them time and time again, because they're just going to burn out and run out of steam. Whereas by managing both your time and your energy levels, you're going to be able to get that sudden burst of energy when you need it most, to push you past your peers and past your competitors. The author goes to the point where he says, or they say, that it's probably more important to manage your energy than to manage your time, because we've all got the same amount of time, but we don't all have the same amount of energy. So the key is to understand your own energy levels, and when you're at your most energetic and when you're at your weakest, and to know that there's a limit to how much energy you can consistently have. There's no doubt that you can pull out energy sources all the time, but the challenge comes when you need to do it day in, day out, hour after hour, under pressure and under intense pressure at times. So in order to understand our energy levels and what is and how to pace ourselves, we need to imagine what would we have, or what would we do if we had all the time in the world, and how would you spend your energy? How would you prioritize your energy if you had all the time in the world to do whatever you had to do? Because the author introduces another concept in terms of our energy levels, suggesting that there are four types of energy levels that we need to address and to understand. And each of those energy levels is key, and we need to we need to work with each of those energy levels to harness the power in order to achieve our goals. So we need to keep our eye on the four sources of energy in our life. And these four sources, according to the author, are our physical energy levels, which are probably the most important and the most key. We've got our emotional energy levels, our mental energy levels, and our spiritual energy levels. Let's just step through those quickly just to make sure that we're on the same page. Our physical energy is, as the author suggests, probably our most important source of energy, because that's the basis of all the others to a certain extent. And he said that we need to sort out three components that sit within our physical energy levels, and that is how well you eat, how well you sleep, and how well and how often you exercise. Because all those three components are important to bringing a balance and bringing a foundation to our physical energy levels. Let's just turn the page here and see if we can turn it without dropping the notes into the harbour. The other thing that just bear with me, I've turned the wrong page. There we go. I've got it now. So, and we need to focus most of our energy on our physical levels according to the authors. So our physical. So we need to manage, to pace, and to work at what we eat, how well we sleep, and how well we exercise, to be able to build that foundation. The next energy level that the author talks about is our emotional energy, and our emotional energy is the energy that we have that enables us to respond calmly and deliberately to the things we have going around us, rather than to react to all those things and to cause us stress and to trigger the fight or flight responses, which then kick us out of our rational state and have us basically in a survival state. So your emotional energy and your emotional state is also key, and something that needs to be looked at and addressed. And you need to be aware of it, and you need to plan for it, and you need to do things to ensure that you have a stable and a positive amount of emotional energy to get through the day, get through the week, and get through those tsunami of problems that hit us every now and then. The third energy level is the mental energy, and what we need to do is we need to keep sharp, and we need to stay effective, and we need to manage our self-image, our positive talk. We need to try and minimise the negativities which come into our thinking processes, because we know that one negative thought will cause immense stress and distraction, and will crowd out any positive experiences or any positive thoughts that we have. So we need to stay guard. We need to be guarding our mind and making sure that we manage and are in control of what goes in and what gets processed in terms of both our conscious and our subconscious levels. And the last one is our spiritual energy, which is basically our compass, our morals, our values, our guiding principles. We need to make sure that we're aligned, that our actions, our goals, and our values are aligned, so that we don't have any cognitive dissonance which troubles us and causes us distress. So the important thing, as we said before, is to align our energy sources to ensure that we are at our peak and at our optimal level, and to help us with our effective performance. The last point that comes from this book is that we finally need to accept and acknowledge our limitations. We're all good at certain things, and there are things that we are not all that good at. So we need to optimize our energy levels, and we need to work with the feedback loop that we have in our life. And the important point that the author makes here, and it's an important point, especially for the men out there who are quite a little bit more egotistical than the women. What we need to do is we need to embrace criticism. We need to embrace feedback and not to dismiss it, because feedback is an important tool that we need to use to learn, grow and develop from. So it's all about accepting, embracing and leveraging feedback, and it's always the best policy rather than to turn your back on it and to ignore it. Because by ignoring criticisms, even if they're negative criticisms, by ignoring and not paying attention to criticism, has a cost associated with it. So be on the front foot when it comes to feedback and criticism. Ask for it, welcome it, process it in a way which empowers you, and don't just ignore it, because by ignoring it, as we said, it could lead to further pain and suffering further down the path, and at a point where you can't do anything more about it. So, and just to understand that if you ignore feedback and continue doing the things in the same way that you've been doing, then you're going to continue to have the same outcomes and have the same mistakes and problems and challenges in your life. So, and to understand that problems and mistakes are part of our growth. They enable us to grow, and the other thing also that the author says is that we also need to understand is that too much criticism makes us feel empty and drained. So there needs to be a balance in terms of how much criticism we take on board. And if you've got people in your life who are criticising you all the time, then you must sit back and think whether or not you need that criticism or that constant criticism in your life. Because if it's not working for you, if you can't process it in a positive way, then it's going to drain you and make you feel empty. So the final point from this book is that we need to stay flexible. We need to overcome the many barriers that we're going to have in our lives, in our careers, in our days, to work faster, to work smarter, and to basically get on with it. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, And most importantly, let's take some lessons from this wonderful book summary entitled The Power of Full Engagement, and go all in. Let's make the most of our time, and more importantly, let's make the most of our energy, and to learn how to use our energy sources, our physical, emotional, mental and spiritual energy, to harness the power to enable us to keep on moving, to keep on growing, keep on going and getting to our goals, and to accept our limitations, as we said, and to understand and to welcome criticism to a certain point, because that criticism can be a tool that you can use, that feedback can be a tool that we can use to enable us to grow, develop and stay relevant. So thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment to help us get through the morning, get through the day, and enables us to continue our growth and to be able to live, learn and pass it on. Take care, yasas, and bye for now from Jim's 5am Club.